Welcome back to Make Way for Cat. I played 29 games in 2023, so here are 29 mini reviews, my full tier list, and my pick for Game of the Year in the cozy world. Let's get into it. January started off on a big high note with Kynseed. Kynseed is an adventure farming sim by two Fable devs, and it is stunning in both art style and gameplay. The story itself seemed to lack a conclusion, like, yeah, you and your brother reconcile, but can we talk about sacrificing people every 5 years and why? This game wrote the how-to guide for doing generational gameplay, but with one downside being the whole rest of your family just no longer exists. Despite that, watching NPCs grow older, get married, have new kids, and even die keeps the excitement going year after in-game year. The crafting minigames have helped hone my skills in doing them for later games, especially the blacksmithing, which I found to be a blast. Who knew that would foreshadow my December? Anyway, Kynseed looks hard, but literally everything is at your own pace and your discretion. You can do or not do as many things as you want to make the game custom to you. This game is a definite S tier, but we're still waiting on that tavern update. Speaking of tavern, we next jumped into Traveler's Rest. While still in early access, this game has so much promise. Normally, I find management-style sims to be too repetitive and anxiety-inducing, but this game hits a sweet spot. There's always new events and updates coming in, but it's still in early access, so I'm giving it an 8.5. This will definitely be an S tier when it's done. Children of Silentown is a story and puzzle-based adventure featuring a young girl and a weird rumor surrounding the other side of the town's gate. People get taken into the woods by monsters never to be seen from again, or at least that's what they say. The art style is one of the best I've seen this year, and the story gives you a twist that you truly don't see coming. It's not particularly long, and some of the puzzles are tough to navigate, so for that reason, I'm giving it a B. A Space for the Unbound was an absolute wild ride. Another great puzzly adventure game with a beautiful and deep story. Set in the 1990s in Indonesia, you as the protagonist deal with a series of strange events happening as you navigate your relationship with your longtime girlfriend. If you're into twisty mysteries, this game is well worth the play, so I am giving it an A. Season, A Letter to the Future, is an exploration-heavy adventure game following the protagonist documenting life before the new season starts. And by season, they mean total world reset. This game is a fun game for exploration lovers, but it felt too short with too much empty space. It was basically like a biking simulator, although the journal customization was so much fun. For that reason, I am giving it a C. Research Story is a promising farm sim with an engaging gameplay system involving research. Follow the steps in your research guide to discover all the animals, plants, and fish living in this part of the world. The game is still in early access, and it shows with the lack of explorable area, unfinished story, and full game mechanics in development, like romance and marriage. This is one to watch, though, for the full release, but as it stands now, I'm going to give it a B. The Smile Alchemist starts off as a cute alchemist sim with a sweet story about improving one's craft to become the very best, like no one ever was. But by Chapter 3, it quickly devolves into a grinding-heavy mobile-style game. It becomes too repetitive and too grindy, so it gets a C from me. Sun Haven's 1.0 finally came out this year, and it didn't disappoint. It has a huge cast of characters, a long, engaging storyline, so many decoration options, and tons of romanceable characters. I had a blast doing the multiplayer on a charity stream, and the devs are still delivering content updates with new romanceable characters, decor, and more. This is a solid S-tier game. Song of the Prairie is an anime-style farming sim, and while it has everything you're looking for in a farming sim, it fell a bit flat on the longevity front. Its most interesting feature is the NPC story arcs with inside the mind minigames to learn deeper information about them. While innovative, it's super punishing to mess up. The game is good, but in a sea of 100+ hour farming sims, there are better options, so I'm giving it a B. Roots of Pacha is a farming sim with a prehistoric theme. Using a Stone Age backdrop allows for unique gameplay with technology research, irrigation, amazing town events, and evolving crops. This game is a ton of fun and worth an A rank. Tchia is a story-based adventure with a heavy emphasis on exploration. Think Breath of the Wild with a glider, overworld puzzles, and groups of mobs to take out. Tchia goes up against an evil dictator to rescue her father, but along the way she explores the beautiful islands and makes lots of friends. Gameplay combines both music summoning and inhabiting wildlife to move through the wilderness. It's a lot of fun for exploration buffs, but the combat was really tough for me, so I'm giving it a B. Tears of the Kingdom is the most recent title from Legend of Zelda, and it offers much the same that we loved from its predecessor Breath of the Wild, with vast improvements. The story was better, the crafting system was a lot of fun, and exploring the underground made for so much more to discover. Is it my favorite Zelda? Not by a long shot, but it is a great game, so I give it a solid A. Everdream Valley is another farming sim about young kids spending the summer at their grandparents' and helping to restore it. It has some cute dog training mechanics, but overall the game gave me horrendous motion sickness, basically making it unplayable, and for that I have to give it an F. A little to the left is a short but sweet series of puzzles based around organizing and tidying up. While most of the puzzles were satisfying, a few toward the end were a bit confusing. Beside the base game, there have been 2 content updates with Cupboards and Drawers and the Halloween event, both of which were fantastic. I'm giving it a B for its length and the frustrating end puzzles, but I hope for more fantastic expansions in the future. Coral Island is both incredibly great and controversial with its 1.0 release this year. The game is baseline fantastic with huge cast of characters, great romanceable options, and events that actually feel like events. There are several unique and intriguing stories running together through the oceans, the caves, and the general town revival that all tie together. It's a great farming sim that hits all the right notes, but their 2024 roadmap reveals that it may only be half the game, with most of the ocean integration missing at launch. Coral Island is addicting, but it's a bummer to know it's not complete. For that reason, this one just gets an A from me. One Lonely Outpost is a farming sim game based around colonizing a barren planet and restoring its ecosystem. While I enjoyed playing it, I hit a game-breaking bug that made it impossible to continue even after several updates. While recording this, I checked my file again and it appears fixed, but I'm gonna wait until this game hits 1.0 to try again. It's still in early access, but it has so much potential to be great. Right now, I'm giving it a B. There isn't much to rave about Dave the Diver that hasn't already been said by pretty much everyone. It's a fantastic game with flaws that are hard to find. The management sim aspect isn't as fun as Traveler's Rest, but the meat of the game lies in the fishing. I feel like this game may be a step down from true Kotzy, but man, is the writing and humor in this game spectacular. I wish I had more time to devote to this one, but it's most certainly great enough for an A rank. Crime O'Clock is a puzzle game that's a unique take on the Where's Waldo seek and find formula. Each map scans across 10 time frames in which you follow crimes in action. In addition, there's an overarching story with you, a timeline detective, and your AI partner, with a whole bunch of lore regarding ancient artifacts. It's a solid puzzle game with lots of opportunity to have your hand held to whatever degree that you need. It's an A game for me for sure. Blue Oak Bridge is another farming sim on this list that involves restoring the library with the collection system. Other than that, there wasn't much that made it stand out from the others, so I'm giving it a C. Cornucopia is a 2.5D farming sim with a large cast of very interesting NPCs. While the story and cutscenes are great, the gameplay is a bit repetitive. You have to complete story events to receive a jeweled fruit and mine down to the bottom of a new cave to reach the boss. I fizzled out on this game after one of the fruit events required me to cook, but not only did I not know how, I had no idea where to get the recipes, so unfortunately this game is just okay and gets a C. Palia is the very first cozy MMO game, and it has a lot of promise. You play as a human, an extinct species that just reappeared again amongst the elves. While you solve the mystery of your existence, you get to know an incredibly charming cast of characters some of which you can romance. And at least the dialogue I have with Jell is swoon-worthy. But of course, there are drawbacks with it being early access. There is a limited area to explore, and unless you're on and grinding certain materials with a group, getting magic materials like the flow trees is tough to solo. And it finally handicapped me on the new questline for the Capital Visitor NPC. Regardless, I come back for each update, and I love this game, so it's an A rank from me. I Am Future was more fun for me in the demo than the actual full release. I can't remember specifically why I stopped playing, but I think it had something to do with the unending amount of poisonous plants and those night crawlers. It is definitely more leaning toward a true survival game than a cozy post-apocalyptic farming sim. So it gets a C from me. I wanted to like Book of Hours so much. It gave me the same vibes as Strange Horticulture, and the art style is the gorgeous style I love so much. I enjoy puzzle games and feel I'm pretty decent at them, but this one was hard. There are very few directions for the complex card-based mechanics, and for me it was unplayable, and I am reluctantly putting this in the F tier. Oh, Faefarm, where do I start with you? For $60, I expected AAA level gameplay mechanics and a story, but the only thing unique about it is that you got wings. The gameplay itself was incredibly repetitive, requiring mining down to the bottom of a cave, getting a bundle of goods for the creature at the bottom, onto the next biome, and repeat. The goods were always manufactured in machines or tables with processing time, which is called a maker in the Story of Seasons line. But like the excessive makers in Pioneers of Olivetown, this game made the same mistake. And why do we need the same maker in different colors just because we're in a new biome? Why does a $60 game have typos, overly repetitive NPC text, limited and very bland romanceable characters, and rinse and repeat gameplay? I'd normally give this a C rating, but I am so angry at the price tag. It's all hype and no substance. F. Mineko's Night Market is a charming crafting adventure game that's essentially a love letter to our feline friends. There's light puzzling, fulfilling NPC requests, a merchant mechanic, and solving the mystery of a famed cat deity. This is one of the coziest games I've played this year, and while the Switch version had a ton of bugs, I never encountered issues on my Steam copy. The gameplay is right up my alley, the art style is adorable, and I just enjoy this game a lot, so I'm giving it an A. Bilkin's Folly is one of the best puzzle games that I have played to date. First of all, it caught me in the middle of my One Piece phase, so being a sea captain was hype already. But the characters are entertaining, the puzzles are challenging, but not impossible, and the mystery still has me hooked. However, I'm currently stuck in a puzzle that includes a timing mechanic, and that breaks the cozy element for me. I love this game, and I will finish it at some point, so it gets an A. My Time at Sandrock was my most anticipated game this year. It has all the best things about My Time at Portia, with quality of life improvements, and a much more interesting story about a town dying in the desert. On top of that, there's a huge mystery of what happened to the main antagonist to get him to where he's at that drives you to keep going. Sandrock is more of a crafting sim than a traditional farming sim, but it has all the same elements of the genre: farming, fishing, crafting, cooking, relationships, and romance. This is an S-tier game for sure, and I cannot wait till I have the time to put fully into this game. While the Iron's Hot is my biggest surprise this year, Kynseed got me hooked on the idea of a blacksmith sim way back in January, and now we have a full blacksmith sim on our hands. On top of that, if you're an elder millennial like myself, you may recognize the art style as a throwback to Zelda 2. I love good pixel art games, and I enjoyed this game so much that I played it twice, which is doable with about a 12-hour runtime, 6 if you already know the tricks. There's an overall story about the blacksmith before you, vanishing under hushed circumstances, and your journey to prove yourself as the ace blacksmith that you are. The game isn't perfect. I played it on Steam, but console users faced a slew of game-breaking bugs. Some find the endings to be a bit underwhelming, and I think that's true more for the bad ending than the good one. If you play on PC and like this genre, it's a must-play, and my only non-100-hour-plus game in my S tier this year. Last, but most certainly not least, Snacko is an early access cat farming sim that feels both like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. The previous residents of Snacko Island forsook the island's deity and paid for it in a harmful miasma sprouting up. The island has been abandoned by everyone save one lonely farmer who takes you on as an apprentice. Slowly you restore the islands by solving puzzles to reveal each biome's obelisk and present the offering bundles to wipe the miasma away. All the while, new residents come to live and open shop, and the town is completely designed by you. There are some issues with controls. For instance, it's very easy to accidentally consume items when the button is right next to your tool rotation button. There's also major stamina balancing issues and a lot of days ending before 9 a.m. because of how quickly it runs out. It is still in early access, but it has the potential to be a really great game. So for now, I'm giving it a B. So that's the full tier list, and as far as Game of the Year goes, the winner feels pretty clear to me. It's Sunhaven's 1.0 release. You can't beat the customizations in this game, the long story quest lines, the unique and interesting NPCs with a wide range of romanceable characters. Plus, its multiplayer was easy to use and a lot of fun to do. Can't forget the pixel art graphics that are so well done and detailed. I mean, come on, have you seen Withergate? This game deserves my Game of the Year. What was your Game of the Year? Did you agree with my tier rankings? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, subscribe for more cozy game content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.